What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Bluff Guy. Hey! And we're back again with another One Piece reaction. And today we will be reacting to Threevil. The title of this video is The Sinister Origin of Mihawk Will Blow Your Mind. They're hiding this from you. Now, before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button, also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Also comment below, let me know what you think. Also follow me on Twitch to catch me in real time, to interact with me in real time, live on these streams. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and join the community. Join the Discord. All of these will be down below, as well as a link to the video we will be reacting to today. So y'all make sure y'all go show Threevil some love. But yeah, so we're talking about Mihawk. Y'all know it's like one of my favorite topics, baby. One of my favorite topics to talk about, especially when we talk about One Piece. My favorite character. So my favorite character to talk about. And now we know that the story has progressed and we're in the late rounds of the series. We're in the end stage of the series. Now we're getting some more of characters like Shanks and Mihawk. So y'all know I'm happy about that. I'm happy we got some cross skill stuff. We learned that Mihawk was a naval hunter. He hunted Marines. There's theories that he cut off Zypher's arm, from the movie, even though Zypher isn't canon, or at least the movie wasn't canon. But there's theories that he's the one who cut off Zypher's arms, right? So, and there's other theories. I have theories about Mihawk myself, right? Especially pertaining to his eye. I think that might be like a bloodline thing. And it's funny because the title of this video says the sinister origin of Mihawk. So it seems like Threevil is going to be talking about Mihawk's origin. His origin, where he came from, maybe his history, maybe his bloodline, his family. I don't know. But I've said that maybe Mihawk comes from an ancient culture, like a ancient family, like a family that was around since the ancient kingdom, possibly Joy Boy, possibly Eam. You know what I mean? Maybe Eam. We know that Eam has those eyes as well. Maybe Mihawk and Eam are related. Because we don't see those eyes often in the series. I mean, we don't see the eyes at all, really, other than Mihawk and Eam. I know a lot of people like to bring up Cavendish and Hakuba, but that was a situation. That was like a specific situation where he had those eyes, but he was struggling for control, right? And we also have Caribou. He has similar eyes. His eyes are a little different from Mihawk's, though. But yeah, we only really see Mihawk, Eam, and Zunisha, and to a degree, to an extent, Caribou, right? Is that like a bloodline trait though? Like what is, I think that could be some type of awakening, or like a kind of like the Uchiha from Naruto. They have the Sharingan. It's specific to the Uchiha clan. Now there's other people outside the Uchiha clan like Kakashi and Danzo who have it as well, but Kakashi got it from Uchiha, from Obito, right? And Danzo got it from collecting it from different Uchiha, right? And he got it in his arms, so he got a bunch of them in his arm. But Mihawk, he always has those eyes, It's not something he has to activate. It's just something that's just part of who he is. Now, you could make the argument that that's just a character design, and that's likely as well. That it could just be a character design that Oda went with because he's based off of Hawks eagles and stuff, and they have very, their eyes are similar, right? But let me tell you something. Let me also say this: hawks have the best vision in the animal kingdom. They can see like their prey from like miles away, right? So they have a very unique ocular feature, very unique ocular properties. You know what I'm saying? Hawks. There's other animals with unique ocular properties as well. And I kind of like to think of it like maybe since eagles and hawks have like a very advanced and unique ocular prowess, maybe Mihawk might have a very unique ocular prowess that might pertain to observation hockey. Now, I've talked to people. Some people say, no, I would argue to say it's more of a conqueror's trait. Maybe it could be either or. I go with observation because when we look at observation, we look at seeing. Your ability to see. Katakuri could see into the future. Seeing, right? So I look at Mihawk as somebody who potentially has the most advanced observation hockey in the series, potentially. You know what I mean? Or maybe a very unique observation hockey ability, right? That's something we'll have to wait and learn. That's just kind of my theory on it, on Mihawk specifically. That's my theory on it. And that would probably apply to Eam as well. Like Eam could probably be more advanced than Mihawks, especially if Eam been around longer. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of my theory on that. But I'm curious to hear what Threevil has to say about Mihawk. Because, hey, I love talking about Mihawk, bro. We going to talk about Mihawk when we can, especially when we get new information. Let's get into the video, though.
No crew, no devil fruit, just a sword, pure badassery, and an epic beard.
Pure badassery. I had to stop it just to emphasize that.
That I'm kind of jealous of. But both the inspiration and origin of Mihawk goes really, really deep. From the most famous vampire of all time, known.
Bruh, like he said, man, and I hate to keep stopping so early, but I just gotta stress this. I gotta stress this about Mihawk's character. Why I love his character so much. The main reason I love his character so much, because yes, people love Shanks, and Shanks is a badass character. Let's not get that wrong. But Mihawk, right? Mihawk has no crew. He doesn't have a crew. Or at least for now he's part of Cross Guild. But majority of the series, he had no crew. No, not just by himself. Solo dolo. He travels dangerous seas on a rowboat. A boat the size of a normal rowboat. Dangerous seas. He messes with people just because he's bored. Right? Badass sword. Badass character design. And he gets just as much. He's pretty much respected just as much as Shanks or any other Yonko. He doesn't have the crew that other Yonko have. He doesn't have the territory that these other Yonko have. But yet he's still just as respected. Bro, come on now. Come on now. I got a fanboy over my guy, man. I got a fanboy over him because nobody else does. It's only like the only other YouTuber that I see fanboy over Mihawk is Tekken 101. Shout out to Tekken 101. But I got a fan because nobody else will if I don't. Everybody wants to fanboy over Shanks, so I'm going to fanboy over my guy Mihawk. Not only that, I'm going to say this and I'm done. And he is pretty much confirmed, at least by the Navy. Things could be different. He is a better swordsman than Shanks. So I'm not saying he's stronger than Shanks, but at the very least, he is a superior swordsman than Shanks, and we know that Shanks is a swordsman. He does use his sword when he fight. So, just throwing that out there.
Not you, Edward, to a Catholic Romanian swordsman who had a dark truth to his family. Today we're going to explore the sinister inspirations to Mihawk to predict what's about to happen to him in the story. But as always, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for consistent One Piece theories. Up until
y'all go like and subscribe to this man's channel. Links in the description box. Also, go like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitch as well. Follow me on Twitch.
Till now, Mihawk's been a total mystery, and honestly, there's not that much to say about him. There's not that much we know about him. Sure, he has the world's strongest swordsman title and he's dueled with Shanks, but as one example, we haven't even seen those duels with Shanks. We also know that he was a former warlord of the sea, making him have a unique peace treaty with the world government. As far as his origins go, one of the most popular theories and options is that he is the son of Rayleigh and Shaggy. And I'm sure this has crossed your mind before. A lot of One Piece fans come to the same conclusion since they're reading the same story, but the earliest post I saw about this was on Tumblr in 2017. The theory goes that Shaggy quit being a pirate 42 years ago, which is actually 1 year before Mihawk was born.
I low-key hope not. I hope not. I don't like that theory. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. It's just, I'd rather Mihawk have come from a more unique lineage. Unless Shaggy is from a unique lineage, then okay, I'll be cool with that as well. But yeah, and I don't remember ever hearing this theory.
This could be a coincidence, it could not, but let's just at least keep this in mind. Now in the original text where Luffy meets Shaggy, she calls Rayleigh Uchi no Hito, which translates to person of my house. This may seem a little vague, but when a woman says person of my house, they are referring to their husband. Now you can kind of see the foundation that we're laying down here. Shaggy quit being a pirate 42 years ago, then 1 year later had Mihawk. The father of Mihawk would be the person of her house, the husband, Rayleigh. But wait, there's more. So the name Dracula Mihawk seems to imply that Mihawk is connected to Dracula, which is the most famous vampire of all time. Now, when we're talking about the weaknesses of a vampire, we have to understand that they are dark and usually evil beings, so they hate purity. Now, coincidentally, Rayleigh's name is Silver's Rayleigh, and silver is one of those items of purity that absolutely destroy and counter vampires. So I do think it's ironic how Silver's Rayleigh would be the counter to his own son. Oh yeah, by the way, Rayleigh and Mihawk are swordsmen. Now that theory goes way deeper than what I presented to you, so if you're interested in reading more, the link will be in the description. So seeing how there's already theories on
I mean, yeah, they are swordsmen, but I can't really just say that's great evidence just because they're both swordsmen. That means they're related. Because then you could say Rayleigh and Zoro are swordsmen. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, hey, look, I'm not trying to knock there because the Rayleigh being like silver being the counter to vampires and Mihawk being connected with Dracula Mihawk being connected with Dracula makes sense. It makes sense. I like how I want to also point out how Threevil got the that berserk symbol, that little curse symbol from Berserk tattooed on his neck. Hey, shout out to Threevil with the Berserk tattoo.
on the origins of Mihawk, I thought it'd be a great idea to show you guys my take on the origins of Mihawk. Now in the past, the popular belief of Luffy's inspiration was Sun Wukong, a monkey king from Chinese mythology. Now of course there are similarities between Luffy and Sun Wukong, but that doesn't mean that Luffy is based on only Sun Wukong. And one day I discovered that Sun Wukong was actually based on the Hindu monkey god Hanuman. And I found that to be very compelling because there's a lot of traits Hanuman can apply to Luffy but can't apply to Sun Wukong. For an example, Hanuman tried eating the sun thinking it was a fruit, and Hanuman himself is actually the son of the Lord of the Winds. This would imply that Dragon himself is the Lord of the Winds, and if you're interested in that topic, I have a video about that, should be at the top.
I didn't know that about the Hanuman. I didn't know that he was the son of the Lord of the Winds. That right there kind of makes the idea of Dragon having like a wind devil fruit or a weather devil fruit potentially it kind of makes it a little stronger. Dragon being Luffy's father and Luffy being the kind of influence from Hanuman. Hey, I mean, Three Evil might be on to something right there. He might have said it in his theory video, that Hanuman video before, but I don't remember the Hanuman being the son of the wind god or whatever. Okay.
The screen. But the reason I'm bringing up this Luffy thing is because in chapter 1048, Luffy did the attack that would end up defeating Kaido called Bajrang Gun. And Bajrang is another name for the monkey god Hanuman. But going even further than that, One Piece Road to Laugh Tale Volume Series 4 shows Oda's author notes calling Luffy monkey god Hanuman.
Now, why does this matter? What does it matter that Luffy's based on Hanuman? What does this have to do with Mihawk?
It's simple. I'm proving to you how over and over again when Oda goes to create a One Piece character, he gets two real-life figures and mixes them together. So with Luffy, it's Sun Wukong and Hanuman, and for Mihawk, it's going to be Count Dracula and Vlad the Impaler. Now, there's a lot of info we're about to jump into.
I think Vlad the Impaler tends to get connected with Dracula a lot. Cause I think if you guys ever watch Castlevania, I think they were kind of, I think like Dracula was also looked at. I don't remember. I have to watch it again, but I do think Vlad the Impaler and Dracula tend to have a connection in a lot of other forms of media, right? So I don't think it would be a stretch that Mihawk would have connection with Vlad the Impaler and Dracula, you know. So yeah, I'm on board with what you're saying, Threevil.
And it took forever to collect. So if you want to support the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell for consistent One Piece theories. The first and obvious inspiration to Mihawk is how he's definitely based on Count Dracula. Now in the real world, Count Dracula is based on a centuries-old vampire that starred in many—
See, right there it says, like, if you look, it says Vlad 3 Dracula. So yeah,
based on a centuries-old vampire that starred in many movies and TV shows. Dracul and Dracula sound and are spelled very similar, and there's actually a reason for that. In the Japanese Raws of One Piece, Mihawk's name is actually written as Dracula, not Dracul. And the sad part about that is that there's no real reason why Viz, the English translations for One Piece, chose to use Dracul instead of Dracula. And sure, you could speculate it had to do with copyright infringement or something like that, but again, that's just speculation. And this isn't the first time that Viz has had issues with the names in the manga. For an example, they still use the name Zolo. So
bro, they do that. I hate that. Cause I react to the official. I react to the official chapter. The reason why I react to the official chapter, because I like to support. I find it my way of supporting Oda and his by going through the official channels to read the series on my reactions. But I hate how they call him Zolo, right? But I think that's because copyright stuff with the name Zorro. You know, there's the old movie Zorro and all that. So yeah, so maybe that's why they call him Dracula, Mihawk. And another thing I also want to note: if you guys spell Dracula backwards, you get Alucard. If you guys ever watch Hellsing, that's the main character's name, Alucard, right? Also, I think in Castlevania, the son's name is also Dracula's son's name is Alucard as well.
My point here is that it's completely fair to say that his actual name is Dracula Mihawk, which actually does have some ties to Count Dracula himself. One obvious clue to me is how they dress almost the exact same way. Count Dracula and Dracula Mihawk having the same attire cannot be a coincidence. Another similarity is how Count Dracula's castle looks very similar to Mihawk's castle on Karaigana Island. Seeing how there's obvious clues that Mihawk is based on Count Dracula, I wonder if the niche facts about Count Dracula could apply to Mihawk. For an example, Count Dracula was known as the undead, meaning that this dude was not dying anytime soon. I know One Piece fans like to tie the concept of his ring eyes to immortality, but that's flawed considering all the characters that possess these ring eyes off and on. But that doesn't mean I don't think that Mihawk could be long living or
I think Cavendish is a bad example. Like, people always love to bring Cavendish and Hakuba up, but it's like, Cavendish, they're not normal. Those ringed eyes were only, they were a very situational thing. Now, Eam and Zoe, that's different. Yes, they got ringed eyes. You can even throw Caribou in there as well. But Cavendish only had him that one time when he was struggling for control over the body from Hakuba. But let's continue.
Immortal, I just think that there's other ways to do so. One example is Dr. Kureha. She is 141 years old and she even knows about the Will of D and Gold D Roger. The probability that she crossed Mihawk's path and increased his lifespan is actually a lot higher than you think, given that it's implied she's a former pirate. So with the name Count Dracula and Dracula Mihawk, it's possible that he is undead and he was altered when he met Dr. Kureha. Now I know there's other means of extending your lifespan or making you immortal, such as the Ope Ope.
I don't know. I don't get where you get that connection that he could have got help from Kureha just because she's old. I don't know. I think there's other routes that could happen, but I mean, okay.
No me, but I personally don't think the story is going in the direction that Mihawk had that operation done on him. I've also considered the idea that Mihawk is a vampire, but then that kind of leads me into the territory that he has a devil fruit, which yet again in my opinion isn't really the vibe in the direction I see Oda going with and would actually take away from Mihawk's power and skill in swordsmanship. Now,
I agree with that. I hope Mihawk doesn't have a devil fruit. You know, keep him devil fruitless, him and Shanks. No devil fruits. I'm good with that.
the second inspiration I see for Mihawk is Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler was one of the most important rulers in Wallachian history and a national hero of Romania.
So his name was Vlad Tepes, right? And that was pretty much the name. If you guys watch Castlevania, I want to say that was the name of Dracula, and it was Vlad Tepes, right? So, but they called him Vlad the Impaler, and he was like, "Oh, they always call me that." I forgot why they called him that in the show, but yeah. So, Vlad the Impaler and Dracula always had some connection, right? Because even when you go back to the Dracula panels he was showing, they said Vlad, you know, Dracula Vlad or something. I don't remember what it said, but yeah.
Now it's important to know that Count Dracula is based on Vlad the Impaler,
Bam.
which should remind you about how I said
Bam,
earlier
see?
that Sun Wukong is based on Hanuman. So I see a trend here. When Oda wants to create a One Piece character, he gets the popular notable figure to inspire them. Then he looks at those popular figures, figures out their inspiration, and adds them to the mix as well. Now one interesting detail about Vlad the Impaler is actually kind of dark. It's how his father and brother were both killed. Now this is because Vlad's father was overthrown by local warlords that decided to kill the two family members. Now this actually reminds me of Doflamingo, a former celestial dragon who killed his own father and brother. Now the two stories are not the same because, as I said, Vlad didn't kill his father and brother, but Doflamingo did. But I bring this up because of a shocking discovery I made that actually inspired me to make this video in the first place. In Romanian language, where Count Dracula comes from, son of Dracula derives from the Latin word Draco, which translates to the English word dragon. This could imply that at some step of the way, Mihawk was a former world noble or celestial dragon. And this is not out of the realm of possibility because we've already had warlords like Doflamingo.
Dang, man. So we calling everybody celestial dragons. Shanks, I've heard theories on Shanks being a celestial dragon, Monkey D. Dragon being a celestial dragon, or at least marrying one. Now Mihawk, you know what? Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised with Mihawk though. You know, because again, I think that Mihawk could potentially have connection with Eam. Eam is the ruler of the world. So he is up there with the celestial dragons. You could call Eam, you could possibly call him a celestial dragon. So, you know, and Eam also has those eyes. So I've said that maybe Mihawk came from Eam's, he's like, maybe he's related to Eam. Eam is also related to celestial dragons. So again, I think this is kind of giving credence to what I already believe about Mihawk. About him having a special lineage. It's already giving credence to it. And I think those eyes he got come from that special lineage.
Flamingo that were former celestial dragons. So if anything, Oda could be trying to draw a parallel between Doflamingo and Mihawk that is not obvious to us yet, but at least we can infer and predict that both Mihawk and Doflamingo are endgame characters. Now remember how I said that Doflamingo is a former celestial dragon that killed his father and brother? With Vlad the Impaler inspiring Mihawk, this would imply that Mihawk is a former celestial dragon that had his father and brother killed by enemies, creating a unique similarity between Doflamingo and Mihawk. One other detail we definitely have to look at is actually the drawings of the 7 warlords as children. Looking at Mihawk's depiction, it's very obvious that his childhood was rough to say the least. And knowing Oda's writing style, knowing how Oda foreshadows things, I'm not gonna ignore how he decided to draw Mihawk like that. I also want to point out how in many of the drawings of Vlad the Impaler and the people around him, they are shown holding and using crucifixes, or in other words, religious crosses. This would imply why a dark person like Dracula Mihawk would still wear something people depict as pure, a crucifix. And the interesting part about that is that the celestial dragons live in the Holy Land and call themselves gods. So Mihawk wearing this cross, Mihawk wearing this crucifix could be a hint, it could be a clue to show that he is a former celestial dragon. And if that's true, that yet again solidifies how when Oda creates an important One Piece character, he takes 2 important figures and mixes them together. I can definitely see the celestial dragon Mihawk having a rough childhood because his royalty father and brother were murdered by enemies. This would lead
That's actually I do kind of like that though. I like that idea because we know that Mihawk lives in like this creepy castle, right? Like, but that could have been his family's castle as well, right? Like maybe his family lived there and they died, so you know he continued to live there. Maybe he had to run away and come back and you know he had like maybe there was like a coup or something, right? And his family were killed and he had to run away and he had to survive. And then, you know, maybe he was taken in by Rayleigh and Shaky or whatever her name is, you know, and Rayleigh taught him the way of the sword and he became a swordsman. And eventually he became so strong, he went back to his home, took his castle back, and it was like, hey, you know, I just want to live in my family castle. You know, I do think, because I do believe that he does have a special lineage or comes from a special family, you know, and I think that castle he lives at might actually be his home. It might be like his family's castle, you know. It's just maybe his family lost it at one point, and when he became strong enough, he took it back.
Mihawk into isolation and not want to interact with anyone in the world and just remain in the shadows, up until he decided to live up to the Dracula name by extending his lifespan by meeting someone like Dr. Kureha. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more One Piece theories. If you're
all right, man, we're gonna give the boy Threevil a like. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, shout out to Threevil. Shout out to Threevil, you know, especially doing a Mihawk theory video. Really appreciate it. I really like it. You know, my favorite character. So anytime somebody wants to try to give my guy more depth and talk about him and put him in the limelight, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And two, I agree with some of the I agree with the concept, right? About Mihawk coming from a family, maybe like a family of royalty. Maybe his family was killed. I never even really thought about that, honestly. Like possibly his family being killed, and you know, but it gives me something to think about, because now I'm thinking that castle he lives in, if his family was royalty, maybe that was his family's castle. And if that was the case, maybe he had to run away from home, eventually get stronger, come back and take it back. You know, I also think that there may be some connection with him and Eam. That's why they got those eyes. You know, I know he said a lot of people got those eyes. A lot of people don't. It's only them two and Zunisha. Like Eam, Mihawk, Zunisha, Cavendish to a degree as well. But even Cavendish has like a lot of spiritual symbolism as well. So that it's not much of a stretch as to say that, or not Cavendish, Caribou. It's not a stretch to say maybe Caribou could be connected, right? Because like maybe he comes from royalty as well. I don't know. You know, maybe he's connected with Mihawk too. You know, he's just not strong. You know, maybe he's just not strong and he can't utilize his eye abilities at like Mihawk's level. You know, just playing around with some theories, some speculating though. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, it's a great video though. Enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know your thoughts on the video we reacted to. Do you agree? Do you disagree with anything that was said? Either by Threevil or by me? Let me know in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you could catch my live streams in real time. You can interact with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Join the community, my Discord. All of these will be in the description box below, so y'all go check them out. And go show Threevil some love. The link to his video will also be in the description box below. So yeah, anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P, the Bluff Guy, and I'm out of here. Peace.